So it all works, I guess. So let me move the thing, and yeah, hello everyone. So today I will continue on the guy, on the troll. In here, this one, it's a redesign from Heroes of Might and Magic 1. If anyone is new in here, I'm Eric, and I do live streams and stuff for a living. I mean, not live streams for a living, but I do art. And yeah, this is like continuing redesigning monsters from Heroes of Might and Magic 1. So comment, subscribes, whatever, and yeah, and hello Mikołaj. So yeah, before I will start, like small recap, I basically did like some colors, and I did a base color for this guy. I added some things. I gave him a shadow. Off stream I made him a little bit more purple because I thought he is not purple enough. Then I added some light and added a little bit more light and added a glow from the ground, so it's like a really slight change. And this is a line art of it, so a line art alone looks like this, more or less. And I was thinking to search for a character that is like purple and is muscular, and I like was really trying hard to find it. And then I remembered the Thanos basically is like purple and he's muscular. And I found this reference where maybe the light setup is not identical, but it gives me a good idea how purple skin looks like while lit by a daylight, and how like a rim light, this, or maybe not a rim light really, but how this strong light on the side looks like. So I guess this is pretty close, so I guess it's okay. So I think this is like a good validation to see if what I do is at least okay. The one thing that I really want to work on though is this hand. I don't really like it. I feel the position is a bit unnatural. But the problem with it is I forgot to search for a reference. So most likely I will be doing this like right now, really quickly, trying to search for it. Or I will simply take a photo quickly of my own hand because I won't find it otherwise quickly. So yeah, let me just grab a photo and yeah, so if you go like this to the side, also if anyone has any questions or whatsoever you want me to see your artwork, feel free to send a link in a chat, so I will be able to look at it. And yeah, this is pretty much all. And instead of making a photo, I managed to make a short clip of my hand. So yeah, let's go back to this thing, and here is my hand. I hope the position will more or less be okay. I wanted to change it because I felt like the hand, the palm going forward is a little bit more like brute-like, but it does not really fit natural. Like I tried walking like this and it felt kind of odd, especially with like the rotation of a muscle in here. I think it should look differently. So let me do some erasing. Whoops. Be gone, sketch. And let me do some adjusting on another layer with my new favorite brush that is just a normal square. So yeah, I will firstly do an ugly sketch for it. So I will have like a base that I want to like base everything off. And I found that it really works for me recently, that I do this type of a stuff. And yeah, just life goes on. So I was thinking that because this muscle basically, like the muscles in the forearm basically they go from like here to this area, and I felt since this rotation is not really like, it's not this type of a movement for a hand, it's more like this, then this light entire muscle setup is a bit more natural this way. And I need to remember this guy has like 3 fingers, so I will do like those 3. I will skip the pinky one. So yeah, And again, I need a reference because look how much stuff is going on in here. It looks like I have biceps on my fingers. Kind of funny in this light scenario. So yeah. So let me see if this will look any good. And yeah, drawing fingers, as always, is just hard. They are like really easy to do, but together it's always problematic. I still need to finish some things. Feel free to send it me, Kawaii. I will check it out. This finger. So yeah. You sent it on Facebook or a link? If link, then YouTube won't get it. It kinda looks like he was doing a muka. Second finger. I will check Facebook. Okay, not on Facebook. Oops. So yeah, the Facebook link is usually better. And yeah, plan for today is to basically like move this guy like from sketch or like a rough thing to something that starts to resemble a final. So I guess I will try to render it a little bit more. I don't really like this position of a hand too. I need something in between. So something more like this. Yeah, so off to a great start then. Wiggling with references. So this one is a no-no. This one should be better, especially with the perspective a bit more solid. And let me grab the image done by Mikowai. I need okay, I don't need it. No, I do need it. I need the permission. So you need to open the permissions for me to be able to view it, or just send a photo, like a screenshot of it. Then it will be even easier. Because without the permission, I won't be able to view anything. Oh yeah, this hand setup looks more natural. 2, and the third one is basically hidden. And I do enjoy the fact that the fingers in here are a little foreshortened, so I feel it does benefit the overall thing. And that this finger is visible like through here, and that I can do a thumb in a bit of a nicer manner. Boom, boom. Send you a photo. Okay, let me check it. This one. Whoops. So let's see it. Whoops. It looks really okay. It's a bit top heavy. Like this is really heavy. And I think to make it slightly better, those guys should be like bigger. So there will be a little bit more like meat on the ground. And also in this case, to make it a little bit more realistic, I think you could like separate the front leg to something like this. So it will look that it has a little bit more area of the ground. And I do believe this thing in here will be just thicker, like the mechanism. But overall, it looks really cool. So from a front, this will basically be just like more like this. It will be better in scale. And for this guy, since I know he is like already like drawn, but he would be wider and legs would be thinner most likely, and feet a bit smaller, and the arm most likely will be a bit bigger. Other than that, it looks really cool. I think those type of stuff, that depends also what you are going with, but I prefer, this is like my personal preference, to be like more straight, so it will be more like this. So then it looks okay. And for a background, I think you should just go with like a gray and mute everything a bit more, so the mecha can stay a bit brighter and it just will shine a bit more. It will look a bit more, I mean, it will be visible a bit better because the background is not really that important, but other than that, it looks really cool. I'm not sure if this would work, but it does seem it could work, so yeah, it looks nice. There are some things to improve, but yeah, this is really cool. So good job. Slowly getting there with all the skills and everything. So, and for any stories, I don't have anything like a lot to talk about today. So most likely it can be like mute me and draw alongside with me type of a stream, because nothing really new happened during these 2 days, other than the fact that in a local shop like Biedronka, the chickens that I am buying usually for a dinner or whatever, they are now more expensive. So it kind of sucks. Everything is getting more and more expensive. Yeah, it looks okay. Like for concepts, usually don't go for. I mean, the illustration should be like the last thing that you do. Usually, it's better to just explore much more. Hello, Jade, Jess. Hello, Alicia. Slowly, people are coming in. If anyone also has any topic or is just interested in anything, feel free to ask. It will be easier for me to talk about something. Because if there is something that I really sucks in maybe, it's a better saying, is just talking without questions. So, yeah. Hello, Furiat. Yeah, for portfolio pieces, I think you can do much better for a portfolio. Definitely, if you are going to make a portfolio piece, try to also present all the sketches and all the exploration and everything, because as far as I know, it's not always a case, but usually it is a case. Potential clients prefer to see the I mean, depending on the position you are trying to nail down. But if you're going for something like related to design or concept art, usually they prefer to see all the exploration, because long story short, everyone can like make a nice image given enough hours. Not everyone can like do a thinking on how the nice image should look like. So usually this is the exploration part is the important thing. So yeah, and in here I hope you can see and that you agree with me that the hand looks slightly better now in this position. And also because this is like a troll, like a heavy lifter, I think the bones and everything like around should be a little bit more like pronounced. So for example, if you have like a finger and you have like the bones that are thicker on the joints, I think those areas should be much thicker, so it will be a little bit better, more representative. Nice. Yeah, usually even with stuff like this, I much more enjoy doing like sketches and all the exploration. Usually the exploration is the most fun part for me. I found myself, I like rendering, but I am enjoying like this messy sketching type of a thing much more. Like I wish one day I will have a project where I can be like messy as hell, but I don't mean like the football player, the soccer player, or however to name it. I don't know from where you are from, Al. But to have a project that is just a lot of sketches that are just messy. Maybe like some finished pieces, but not many. Hello, Mortas. Okay, so the hand is looking better. Now let me redo this, and this is actually a cool part, the fact that I don't even have to like change a lot in here, because as you can see, the fill is pretty much fitting the new thing. Not many changes are needed to be made. How do you get nice realistic colors? Honestly, I have no idea. I just do it for I do it long enough for a long, fuck, how to say it. I spend as much time as I need to be able to say that it looks okay. Like the general rule of thumb that I try to follow, that I pretty much follow, like when I do anything, is if it looks okay for me, then it's fine. And if it does not look okay for me, I should just spend more time trying to nail down why it does not look okay for me. Honestly, I have not a single clue how I get colors like right. So yeah, I won't really help much with this. The thing might be that I at some point was studying quite a lot of photographs and everything, and I was learning about like the physics of color and everything. So I could say I do have like maybe slightly more advanced knowledge of the like physical causes of color. So maybe this kind of facilitates to the fact that I can achieve some color type of a thing and stuff. But after like also hearing like about colors from people who are much better with colors than I am, on how they approach the colors, honestly I know nothing about colors. I'm just like blindly guessing, and it happens that I am slightly better at guessing properly, it turns out. So yeah, but also the thing that I usually try to follow is to always use a reference. Like if I have a photo that is a reference that has a light setup that I want to achieve, then I don't really have to think that hard on it, like how it should look like, because I pretty much see it. So I can just like tailor the thing that I do and make it similar to a photo. So yeah, this is pretty much a shortcut for it. And also turning off the layers showed me there are holes in here that I don't want to be in here. So let me just patch them up quickly, and yeah. And we can continue by turning on the thing. Yeah, so the thing was that I wanted to make him more purple, because now he is like, let's say, like white skin colored with some discolorations. Now he is purple. What do you think about connecting iPad as a second screen and drawing on it as a graphic tablet? As far as I know, if you have like a tablet, an iPad, just like ditch Photoshop and just draw in Procreate, because I heard Photoshop for iPad is trash, but I never heard a negative opinion on an iPad and Procreate. So, and I was using it for like one day, and it was really good. Station, come on Lee. Let me just grab his artwork as a quality reference, since I really like the way he painted it. So boom. So, well, yeah, getting inspired. Now, usually I can honestly I don't imagine living with one screen. So let me write who he is, so you can go and follow him, because it is worth it. Let me make it also bigger so I can see it better. Lee. Richard, here's one of your words on studying and improving. yeah, the thing is, go check only out. The thanks. I'm glad you like the stuff that I do. Glad I could help you somehow. Just me dissect the artwork so I can like have the areas that I need closer to the thing. Honestly, the longer I do, oh, this is basically the same hand position. Nice. Huh. Like the thing is, specify what do you want to work on. Like have a goal, because without a goal it will be much harder for you to do anything. If you know what you want to achieve, in a sense, like what is your dream position, then you can pretty much, you will know what do you need to do to get this position. So for example, if you want to be a character artist, it does not Alright, this was scary. I need to remove the sound. Thanks for subscribing. So for example, if you want to be a character artist, there is no really need to put in a portfolio a lot of pieces that are, for example, a vehicle design, because this is not something that will bring you closer to the goal that you have. Of course, it will help you with learning, because you will still draw and you will improve drawing skills and everything. So by drawing vehicles, you will get better at characters this way or another, because you will have a better understanding of geometry and everything and perspective. So it will all like facilitate to a better general understanding of art. But then you just want to mostly practice character design. Then I would say search for portfolios of artists that you find successful, that have like a similar stuff, and just try doing pretty much the same stuff. So if you want to be a character artist, then just study character, study anatomy, study gesture, poses, and all that. And at some point, and just do it. It's like also, there's no a magic trick to being better at art. You just need to practice it. Like, it sounds kind of harsh in the sense that there's like no secret, and I'm still kind of mad about it, that there's like no magic pill that you can take and just be good at art. But the thing is, the more you will do, the better you will get at it. And trying to optimize learning at the beginning will only make you overthink everything. So just like do stuff and it will get better with time. And to build a career, that's kind of hard to say for me, because when I started getting some first commissions, I was studying, like still studying, and I was just doing the stuff that I like to do, and it turns out the people liked the stuff that I did, and they just wanted me to do stuff for them. So pretty much every single job that I landed ever was just me doing what I like and getting commissions based on the stuff that I like. So I never really searched for work. So it's kind of hard to say for me how you can build a career, because I also don't think I have built a career. I just like drawing and I just do it. So yeah, so this is this. And for studying, the thing, like the best tip for studying, in my opinion, is if you are going to make an illustration. So for example, you want to make a troll, or like, let's say this type of a guy, do studies that are related to the illustrations. So do a study of a rock, do study of a leather, do study of a grass, do study of a sky, and do study of hair, skin, facial features. Like before doing one illustration, you can like really prepare, like exercise all the elements that are in the illustration. So okay, in the end, you will do, let's say, one illustration per 2 months or something like this. But behind those illustrations, you will also have like fuckload of studies and everything. So maybe the work output does not seem to be big, but the work put into this one artwork was really huge, and it taught you a lot. So at the beginning, I would approach it like this way. And later you will just like be faster with everything that you do. So the more you do, the faster you get with it. You get at it, so you will just perform everything faster. Every study will be faster. Sometimes you won't even need to make a study because you already studied similar topics, so you will just feel ready at the beginning, and yeah, just do what you like, and at some point you will just know. And also watch Feng Zhu channel about like tips for artists and everything. I guess he covers the topic best. Tyler Edlin also has a lot of cool videos on the topic, I believe. Shamak Roshani has a cool channel where he explains a lot about the industry. I guess much more because than I will know for the next like 10 years, because he is working for much longer. I believe it's Shamak Roshani. He is a 3D guy, or it might be SCH, but I'm not sure. But he is on YouTube, so you will find him most likely. So I think he is like the best person to ask. Richard, the compare. Glad you liked it. Honestly, I don't even remember what I said in this video. I have like a basic idea what I could said there about like not comparing yourself or comparing yourself to get inspired. But I'm glad you find it helpful. Do you do any exercises to learn the digital media? Yeah, basically I'm doing this. I'm drawing trolls because this is pretty much what teaches me how to deal with rendering, how to deal with different light setups and everything. This is like a thing that does help me a lot. So I'm just like studying the topics that I find interesting. Some blues from the sky. Also, when I'm rendering, I don't know if I want to use textured brushes or just like a circle, or what type of a brush do I want to use. It's like, feels odd. I recently unfortunately removed brushes. Oh no, I did not. Nice. I thought I removed these brushes. The brushes from Crypt Crawler Brush Rigney, because I bought his tutorial a long ass time ago, and he has some really cool brushes with some texture, so I will try to use them because he is basically like a master of photorealistic type of an artworks. So I will try to use the brushes that he uses. So I guess I will like just wiggle a lot with the brushes now to see what brush works and what does not work, and which one does not work. Because the texture, like with the textured brushes, the thing is, some smart usage of textures can really add a lot of details to the surface, to the painting. But as unfortunately with everything, you need to practice it. So only then it will look okay. And since I have not been using those brushes pretty much ever, I guess I will have some experimenting to do. But for a like also typical, let's say, exercises to do, do I like, I need to think about it for a second. I guess sometimes I was just like trying to do studies, so like to figure out how to paint something, but usually I won't call them studies, because vast majority of the time I'm just like watching a YouTube video and I find someone doing something in a cool way, and I'm like, yo, this looks like an interesting approach to do something. I'm going to try it, and I try it, I like it or I don't like it, and then I'm like, okay, it works or it does not. So a lot of like, let's say, exercises is just watching others paint. So I'm basically watching how the paint dries. And also in here, I can turn off the line art, so I can see better what I'm doing, and also turn on the navigator that you won't see, because the navigator is a floating window and unfortunately you don't have ability to see the floating windows if I'm not sharing the entire screen. And recently I found out that when I'm sharing the entire screen, it tends to lag the entire stream. So if the screen will freeze for you, just let me know. Most likely I will need to restart the stream then. It's also a good idea. Like copying is just a good idea to learn how to do stuff, in my opinion. Like even in here, it's not that I'm just I put it in here to like be inspired. I'm also like trying to copy the style, see how he solved some problems. I really like the texture that Only did in here, so I will try to copy it somehow to see. But the thing is, like, I also need to figure out the colors at the same time on this fella, because I don't feel the colors in here on the thing that I do are like realistic enough. So it's a lot of like trial and error to see what works, what does not work. I just need to concept art or some books, because I think I still don't have. There are some in GAM on Arts. I guess I would search for ArtStation. The book is The Skillful Huntsman by Scott Robertson and others. Skillful Huntsman. This one. But the general idea, or my understanding of concept art, is just solving a given problem in a visual way, but not always, even not always. But in the game industry, usually it is like in a visual manner. So you give yourself like a bunch of restrictions and you make a concept for it. So it's basically like the idea, I would say. And the art part is like the fact that you draw it most likely, or something like this. So I would say this is like the easiest definition of a concept art. But on the other hand, most likely you'll find a lot more definitions. But I would say it's just like solving a problem. Someone gives you a problem of, I need to design to have a knight in my game, and this knight must be this, 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 and that, and he does this type of a movement here and here, and he must look like this, and then you must make a concept for the given idea. So yeah. What I really like about the way the Only paints, for example, those things in here are, it looks like it's really simple to be painted. It looks like there are not a lot of layers of paint. It looks just like it just lays shadow, lays light and everything, and it just looks okay-ish. I know it's not a case, it's not that easy. I always wonder how do they like give it this like realistic type of a feel. For example, like, to be a little bit more solid with the answer, I guess the thing that I'm doing right now could be treated as a result of a concept art in a sense, but since I was not spending a lot of time on exploration of the idea, the concept is not really like figured out in every single way. So I could like explore more, but I don't want to. I just want to make like a relatively nice painting in a relatively short time span. So yeah. But I think I'm gonna make one for output sketches. The way how I approach those type of stuff is because it can happen that the first sketch that you will do will be the sketch that you will use. Definitely, it will happen many times. It happened to me before that just the first sketch was the best, like the best period. There was like no better solution at a given time to figure it out, and I was just not able to think about anything better. And it will happen, but usually I tend to force myself to figure out more, like to do more sketches. Even if I know I will be using this one, I still try to like brute force some ideas. And this is why I think on the exploration part I don't have many problems, because I just taught myself to explore more, even if I know what I will use. So for example, if I will make a face concept, and I will do like 3 sketches and the first one will be the one, then I will force myself to do like 5 more just for the sake of training. So I could say this is also one of the ways that I train. I usually force myself to do slightly more than needed. And yeah, it just helps. So because I just, as I said, I just like exploring. And sometimes if you force yourself, or you will just take a break and try to go with much different approach, it can happen that the ugly sketch that you will do later will somehow affect your main sketch, because you will just by accident do something that you just like in a new sketch. So then there is also a chance that the entire project will benefit from doing more sketches. Because many times it happened to me that, for example, I did something, I really liked the sketch, everything was like really okay with the sketch, I just liked it. And when I like drew it, painted it, and verified it, then I was like, it looks good as a sketch, it does not look good as a finished piece. And then it turned out the sketch that was not really looking good as a sketch was a really good sketch, was looking really good when I finished it as a finished piece. So I could say this is like the way I try to approach it. And this is like the way how I approach it. So and also by doing more sketches, especially when you are learning, you are getting better at doing sketches. And this is something that is really important, because, for example, in a place where I work now, usually the sketches are really high quality. And in this manner, for example, I tend to be lacking with some skills, so I need to like practice a lot to catch up with the better artists in the team. And it's just cool. And it's basically like it caught up to me right now, the fact that I was not really sketching a lot. I was sketching a lot, but not sketching in a quality manner, in a sense. I was doing like a lot of ugly sketches, but I was not really polishing them that much. And I wouldn't say it was a mistake, because my goals were different. But now I think if I would spend more time on sketches just to like polish them for the sake of polishing them, it will be much easier for me now. But this is like, I mean, now I know it, so now I can practice it. In my case, I prefer digital because it's just faster, in the sense that I can just select something and do this, and it's just quick, and I can like duplicate a thing and do 10 versions really quickly just to like verify them. But it's true that on a paper, usually the control over a medium is much bigger. It's just easier to control pen over the like a real pen over the vacuum pen, or whatever brand you're using pen. So that's true. But I guess it just comes with practice, I guess. Like again, the more you do, the better you get at it. So I also don't think you can like practice sketching in a sense. Like if you will just sketch, like with all the drawing and everything, you will just get better at it. So the more you will sketch, the better you will be at it, because you will like figure some stuff out, how to do them, like on a while sketching. So you will know that if you press this way and this way, you will get a this and that result. So it will just be faster naturally, because you were just doing more of it. So yeah, like the more, like recently I'm tilting more to the opinion on like just practice, just do what you like to do and you will get better at it. And at some point you will like figure out by yourself where your skills lie, because some people will just have a lot of problems with like rendering, some people will have a lot of problems with like fluid lines and stuff like this. And yeah, in my case, like I know where with what I have problems, and I tend to spend more time doing those things. So yeah, it's just the way of approaching it. That's pretty much the same thing with like languages and everything. Like you can learn a language and like be perfect at it. Like let's say you can know every single rule grammatically, let's say, or grammatically, I don't know how to say it, not sure. But unless like when you start talking, then you will figure out the biggest amount of things. This is pretty much the same case with me. Like I can't say like I know the grammar of English like perfectly well. I have like basic understanding of it. I do remember some stuff from school, but only when I really started talking with like friends of mine, when I started doing like the YouTube videos and everything, only then I felt that I really learned how to communicate in English. And even though I'm still like making a lot of mistakes, uh, it is pretty much unavoidable. And sometimes I will just use a wrong sentence or like a wrong word. Yeah, like it just happens. And with drawing is the same stuff. Sometimes you will just use a wrong curve, or you will just take a wrong decision or whatever. Stuff happens, and that's pretty much all that there is to it. And I want to reflect some blues his forehead and his eyebrows, because since this is like a shiny material, kinda like a skin, the things that are almost like perpendicular to a camera will catch a bit of this light. So yeah, and also the cool thing is like also the more you will do it, the easier it will be to do it. So for example, in my case now, I'm just basically taking a break from work because I'm doing like stuff in the work that, let's say, is not in my comfort zone. And now when I'm doing something that is in my comfort zone, but not really, because like rendering in a broad daylight is not a thing that I really do often. Like I'm kind of chilling right now, so you can also approach it this way. You have like a topic that you really like, practice with it. The topic that you don't really like or you find hard, practice with it. And if you just want to chill, then chill with the topic that you feel comfortable with. So it might be easier than for you. To like do it or to like enjoy it. So this character is a bit hard on colors, because for example, if he is more purple, I can imagine like the inside of his mouth is also a bit more purple, because he has like a lot of purple in himself. So some colors are a bit odd for me. Like, I feel not everything is looking the way I want it to look, but yeah. Yeah, but usually also the thing that I learned, like that I'm pretty much learning recently, is sometimes you don't really need to paint a lot. Sometimes just like a small touch of color is enough to render something much nicer than if you like just spend trying to like pixel perfect something. Just like a simple suggestion sometimes is much better. For example, the eye in here will definitely be visible. And I can imagine if you have like a pink skin and then the white light reflects from like a pink purple skin and this color in here is like this, then it will be slightly brighter and more vibrant because like the same color basically lightens up this color. So yeah. So areas like this are a bit harder to do because it technically like the idea behind it is fine, but I don't think it looks fine. So I guess in this case there will be a lot of like back and forth trying to like match the colors to each other. Or I can be lazy and I can just call it my style and then problem solved. Like I don't have to do anything with it because it's my style. The easiest explanation to everything. You can draw hands and you do them like skewed and everything is uneven. It's my style. So yeah. And also, by the way, please don't use this excuse. This is the worst excuse that there is in existence. What the fuck did I did with this eye? It looks awful. He kinda looks like he's like really drugged. This is absolutely not the expression that I want him to have. Kinda want him to be like slightly bored. Maybe just like roaming around. And just being like, yeah, chill and everything. Also in the end I can add like just a layer with like a color. Maybe I will give him blue eyes, because why not? It does seem to fit this character. For example, now the eye can be slightly brighter, like have like a reflection here. Yeah, it looks a bit better. Because I don't necessarily want him to look all angry and like everything. Most likely at some point I will decide that I want him to be more angry than chill. And just like being like this. But not right now. Right now I want him to be like just like roaming freely. Because I also kind of want to keep this funny character of the original. Because the original characters were kind of like funky and funny. And a little bit more light-hearted, I would say. So maybe like giving this type of a vibe to it is not a bad idea at all. So yeah. And also usually when I'm trying to render stuff, I will try to keep the layer with rendering on a separate thing so I can see how it progresses. So then I can see if it's going to the right direction or if it's going to the wrong direction, and verify everything like on a fly. So I kind of wonder when you are watching the stream what you are doing. If you are like just sitting in here or just you listen to me mumbling and I'm on a separate tab somewhere hidden on a tabs. I always kind of wonder what people do when they're like watching videos like this, because I honestly don't remember the last time when I have been watching like a live stream of someone drawing. Because usually the artists that I'm interested in, they are doing it in an hours where I'm either sleeping or I'm absolutely unavailable or I just don't get a notification. So yeah, here I see it's a little bit too bright. Also a thing in here is that I can check how the value changed. So this is almost white, then it's like pretty much 70% darker, and the reflected light is only it's like only pretty much 10% brighter. So in my case it's like here needs to be much darker. Try to comprehend when oh yeah, with speed paintings I also had this problem like back in the days. I used to watch fuckload a lot of speed paintings and everything, and then when I was like painting, I still think I do have some of this habit, because when I'm painting I'm like this, and I'm trying to do, instead of going like this slowly gently with everything, I'm just sitting and doing this. And I really feel this is like the reason, because I was watching too many speed paintings back in the day. And back in the day, there were only like speed paintings, because a lot of artists did not have like a stuff to process and render the longer videos and everything. So yeah, nice, good to know. Nice, good luck with all your drawings and everything. It's good to know that you are also working. This is something that should be praised. A lot of people don't value like working and doing creative stuff enough, and a lot of people think they are not doing enough. So you can say, if you are just sitting and in your free time you are trying to learn something new, you can be proud of yourself. It's like a coaching me speaking, because not many people have this ability to just sit on their ass and just do something that is hard and that is pretty much unpleasant vast majority of the time. Because especially when you are learning, I remember like I'm getting rid of this feeling more and more with like pretty much every day of while I'm working. But I do remember how frustrated I was when I was trying to learn something new, and how hard sometimes it was to like just pick up the tablet and to just continue doing this over and over again. It was just like really hard to do, because I was just like stressing over the fact that I don't know something, or that I'm not yet where I wanted to be. It is reasonable to stress about stuff like this, but it's also really hindering. It makes the entire process much harder. Yeah, that's classic. Hello, Saints, Kaisi. Yeah, I know this feeling. But at some point you will get to conclusion that, yeah, fuck this, it's fun. And with me it's like exactly like this. When I just paint, I'm just like trying to be chill and everything. And when I paint something and it looks like okay, and then I like reopen the file and it looks like utter shit, I'm like, well, that's funny. And I just move on. Mindset is also extremely important in drawing. Like the chiller you are, the easier it is to make it work. Do I have Ben somewhere in here? Ben, reference, where are you? Oh, this is not Ben the reference. Okay. I need to bodybuilder. Oh yeah, like working on an IP is a stretch, but when I was doing my master thesis, I decided to pick up a world building topic in the University of Fine Arts and industrial design courses. So yeah, it's basically like Diablo mixed with Dark Souls mixed with Warhammer. This is pretty much what it will be. I'm trying to make some artworks for it, like right now, when I have like a free time or something like this. But the general idea, like I have the entire document translated. I kind of wanted to make a video about it, like explaining everything that the work will have. But the long story short is like something bad happened. Oh yeah, wrong layer. No, something bad happened. Wrong layer happened. Something bad happened, and people were forced to live in a giant cave systems. Everything is of course much bigger than in real life because fantasy and stuff like this. And yeah, and this is the basic idea for it. I don't really want to like the idea that I had with it was not really to was to like develop my skill set based on the idea. It's like a funny story is because I started YouTube because of this IP pretty much, because part of my master's thesis was to create a brand, like the TYPHON art type of a thingy, to put it more as a brand and to start a YouTube channel and stuff like this. So this is like a result of my IP. And I plan to at some point do streams only related to the IP, where I will be just like learning and doing stuff only related to the IP. But I just need to get some images done, some lore written down to a bit more of like this exploration type of a stuff before I can like work on it. And a lot of those stuff is just like learning tools and just trying to figure everything out. And I don't think streams where I just sit and watch YouTube videos for 8 hours, because this is pretty much what recently happened to me, trying to learn and understand some concepts are in particular interesting. So yeah, I guess only when I will be like having much more thing done for the project, then I will like share it properly. So yeah. But if it's, I mean that also the idea was after I will have enough for it, I will try to like maybe cooperate with some writers and people who are just better with words, and for them to like write some scripts for it or maybe stuff like this. And when they do, to for example give it like a community challenge. So I in the end I want the thing to be open for people from everywhere to like work on it if they want to. So for example, there I will say there's this and that, this environment with those characters, these characters are done, these are not. And if you just feel like doing it, just feel free to do it like as your thing. So this is like your way to do something. So you will be able to like practice in a sense. Yeah, the idea. But honestly, I think this is a really far-fetched plan. I want to do it this way, but it will take years to come to work on it. I also want to gain much more professional experience to figure out some more complex stuff. But I treat it mostly as my like field for experiments and everything. Like I try to experiment a lot while doing like side illustrations for this project, like for my IP, because I just want to learn stuff. So it's like my, let's say, safe space to experiment with different techniques and to experiment with new concepts and stuff like this. So I will be able to like transfer everything that I learn to maybe a professional type of a field a bit better. The STP Foundation, those are like those creeps and like horror stuff and stories and everything. This is something different. But if those are like the creepy stories and creepy creatures like STP, yeah, I do know it. For a really long period of time, I was just like putting it on my phone to just someone tell me about STPs when I was going to sleep. Some of them are really fucking stupid, but some of them are really cool. Like I really enjoyed the IKEA STP, like that people are going missing in IKEA, and yeah, this is like one of the coolest STPs. Yeah, I know there are like a lot of them. At some point I knew names. Now I don't remember it pretty much at all. So yeah, but I can imagine this is something like this. Like you can come up with an idea for a cool STP. So yeah, and just design it. So yeah, and also this is Phil Heath. I do believe he was like 8 or 7 times Mr. Olympia, something like this. One of the greatest bodybuilders in history, as far as I know. Dude is huge. Like he used to be much like this is when he was like really huge. Now he's smaller, but he's still huge. So yeah, and bodybuilders are cool for artists because yeah, vast majority of monsters that you will do ever professionally are buff monsters with a lot of muscles and everything. So yeah, you have bodybuilders. They are basically like huge monsters with a lot of muscles. I don't know, maybe. Honestly, like also the more I train, the more I learn about training and everything. It turns out the answer for how you should train is it depends, and yeah, that's pretty much all. If you want to do something, how to do it, it depends. So yeah. Well, that's kind of funny because it turns out like bodybuilding is relatively popular interest for a lot of artists. I wonder if it's like tied to the fact that we mostly sit next to a PC and we don't move like for a vast majority of time and we want to feel buff, or it's because a lot of artists like anatomy and everything and it's just interesting to look at, just like visually pleasing, I would say. To look at nicely developed muscles and everything. I kind of wonder what is like the reason for it. Yeah, I like to lift heavy stuff too. I mean, I'm kind of shit at it because I have been training for a really long period of time. Uh, but I was never like doing it, let's say, properly. So I was not training heavy enough, and mostly I was not eating like well, in the sense that I was not really like trying to keep all the proteins and macro and micronutrients and everything like in check. So I guess if I would like keep this like checked for a longer period of time, then I would be much stronger, much bigger now. But I still do enjoy it. Like the sheer fact that I'm moving my ass like 3 times a week is like enough for me. And the fact that I can sit next to a PC for like, let's say 14, 15 hours, usually with little to no breaks, and my lower back does not hurt me. For me, it's a huge success. Usually I feel really good in my lower back and everything. So yeah, oh, cool stuff. And this area is basically the same pose. So, my dear troll, you are getting the Phil Heath's biceps, and this is also a cool thing. You don't know how a muscle looks like, boom, it looks like this. Also, this muscle is fun. It's like a really small, like triangular muscle on in here. Yeah, and yeah, I just like lifting weights. Like I always said, if I can like work overtime to just be better artist but don't move, or I can be slightly worse artist but put a lot of like, well, because this pretty much takes a lot of time, effort into moving and being healthy, this is much better for me. I prefer to move, like to be slightly worse artist or to spend more time, less time drawing and more time like lifting weights, but just to feel good with everything that I do, and it works because usually after like a nice gym sessions with a friend of mine, Maciek, because I usually going to the gym with a friend of mine, Maciej, I just feel more energized, and in the end I feel like I'm then making the art better because I just feel good. Like when I feel good, I feel like doing art. When I don't feel good, I don't feel like making art. So this is pretty much self-explanatory in a sense. And this is also one of the things that a lot of artists skip, like the mental thing. They just try to be the best artist possible, but they don't really keep their mental health in check. So I usually like when I feel that I need to go out and meet with a friends of mine to like stop doing art for like I don't know a week, let's say, like personal art, especially when I was freelancing. I could do this. Now I'm doing full time, so I can't do this. But when I feel I need like a break from something, just take a walk, then I will just take it. If I feel I need to like let the steam off during the weekend, so just go to a party or whatever, I will just do it. I won't feel like bad about it because I know in the long term it will help me to maintain like the stability between like work and everything. Like also, fuck, those triceps are huge. You, my dear Cyclope, you're getting an upgrade. Yeah, and this is like a thing. I'm painting a pretty much unrealistic bodies type of a monster, and Phil Heath is still bigger than him. Most likely not like the height wise, because this troll is like 3 meters high. Phil Heath is not 3 meters high, but he is still like bigger. So, like imagine troll, something like this, like hitting a gym and just or silverback gorilla going all out in a gym. Like this thing would be like fucking humongous. Yeah, that's true. If you feel like shit, then your art will be shit. If you feel well and if you just feel depressed, then your art will be depressed and learning will not be fun. And this is also one of the things that at some point, I was really struggling with because I was just not feeling well in a sense that I was doing a lot, but I have not seen the progress that I wanted to see. And it was like really bringing me down. But I was constantly trying to remind myself, like, dude, this is fine. Like, you are painting monsters and stuff for a living. This is cool, and just chill and just continue doing it. And now I can say I'm chill as fuck. I'm just sitting and doing stuff, and it's cool. It's not upsetting me anyhow. I just enjoy what I do. And the fact that like someone is I mean, of course, for example, like the fact that, let's say, Taron Fiddler, because this stuff is really like in his style, let's say, like big muscle things, he's like 26 years old, so he's like younger from me because I'm 27 right now. And the fact that he's so much better at this is like, back in the days it was depressing for me. Now it's like, whoa, cool, like let me push more, so I will like close the gap with the skills between us. And yeah, it's motivating. Back in the days it was not motivating, it was depressing. Now I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, more power to him. Oh yeah, that's right. I think I even know what photo you're talking about. There is this like Oh yeah, the skin texture is cool. Yeah, that's a holy fuck. Jesus fuck. This monkey is huge. And it's also pretty much purple. Yeah. So this is the thing. Like, imagine this thing would go and hit the gym and eat properly. Like, if this would go training and like to talk about like also giving it steroids and everything, like all the gear and shit, like the color pretty much like the light even matches. So yeah, cool reference. Thanks for that. But imagine giving like this all this gear and training techniques to like a chimp. This thing would be like huge. Yeah, and then imagine like a gorilla doing the same stuff. Gorilla on steroids. I think that I saw a video once when they were like trying to predict how much a gorilla could like bench press and everything if it was training and stuff like this. Because as far as I know, it turns out the muscles pretty much like the density to the size wise, it's like quite a linear progression with the possible power output. So for example, if someone has like double the size the muscle that you have, most likely the muscle is like double the strength. Like as far as I remember, it was something like along those lines. I might lie, I don't remember the exact numbers, but the idea was like the theory was something like this. Most likely it's not like entirely true, but I guess it's close to it. And of course, given the fact that you will ignore the density of a muscle, so I think the density will also affect the thing quite heavily. But yeah, this also you can see in here are really cool, like this muscle underneath the bicep. It was brachialis, I believe. It looks really cool on this chimp. I think I will give it to my dude here. I always like this muscle. Hello, me blood. So I will go like this. And also the cool thing is now I can make this dude more shredded, so the muscles will be defined much more. But then I can also make him less shredded by like going over the muscles. For example, in here I will just blend it, in here I will just blend it. So the body fat will kind of like make the muscles less shredded, let's say. And also on this guy you can nicely see the wrinkles, how they are wrapping perpendicularly to the muscle. So if you have like a muscle from here to here, the skin will wrinkle like this. So this is why on forehead you have like a horizontal wrinkles, because the muscle on the forehead is like vertical. So you can like move your eyebrows up and down. And I need to rotate my stuff. I was not in the middle. Oops, now I am. A lot. Like, I mean, they're pretty much the same size, so that depends also what is the number under the unit. So given this is like Heroes of Might and Magic, if this will be something like this, then no chances. But if it will be something like this, then a lot of chances. They will just one-shot him, so yeah. So, I mean, yeah, but the Space Marines is one of those characters that are just like overpowered in every possible way, but the lore at least justifies this excess power. So yeah. But I always wanted to see how the Space Marine would do versus the StarCraft Space Marine. How big of a difference it would be. Astartes is like brokenly good. Like it's still hard for me to process how they did it. As far as I know, they also hired the guy who like did the Astartes uh, to make cinematics for them. Because like he basically declassed every single cinematic Warhammer did like ever with this like fun project. So yeah, this muscle will go more like here. But I also do believe now, if you want to make anything like Astartes, let's say, I mean the fan art, that you need a license. I do remember there was something really weird about doing like videos containing the Warhammer characters right now. That they changed some policies to something really like odd and not really fan art friendly, let's say. I don't remember the details, but I remember it was like harsh from them. That they made it much harder to for a lot of creators like create stuff. I want the letter to be slightly darker. Yeah, I mean, the Astartes was one of the best things that happened to Warhammer in a really long time. And they also tried to like, as far as I know, to limit the miniature market, like the fake miniature market, because a lot of people were like doing the bootleg miniatures and everything, and they also wanted like a piece of that. And a lot of people were really pissed about this move because, as far as I know, vast majority of like their earnings come from like people just doing bootlegs and actually inspiring people to buy the original stuff. So, I mean, I do understand why they want to protect their RP because it's like their IP. But on the other hand, I don't think they will like really lose tons of money with stuff like this. Games Workshop, right? I forgot about the name. I kept naming them Warhammer. Uh, yeah, which is weird because like this is one of the things that is just like based on the fans. If you don't have like a loyal fan base, then like what's even the point of having like IP like this? Like also this is one of the things that I really wanted to do with the IP that I am trying to develop. And that at some point it will be open for like creators. So in a sense, if hopefully like one day, let's say, I don't know, in 10 years, it would become a game or whatever, like I would really love to give it like the full modder support and everything, so people just can go just crazy with it, and like to give them tools and everything so they can like express their ideas. Also, this is one of the things that was always odd for me, like why the companies, like the big companies, have everything like under NDA, like so you basically can't talk even about some projects and share any info about them. Like why? Like for example, if they would make, I don't know, let's say, well, let it be like Witcher 5 or 4, I guess. Oh, Huh. I have not heard about them trying to like modify it. But let's say they would make like Doomslayer. Thanks for following. Yeah. What I mean, fuck, I forgot. If they would make Witcher 4, let's say, if they would just make the process of creating entirely open, so not in a sense that the people can affect how the game is like made, so they are still making like their decisions, but for example they are making the updates like every other month on what they are doing right now, sharing some art, concept arts and everything and stuff like this, or to like, let's say, do some contests for the fans while they are creating the game, so people can like actually express their ideas and everything and stuff like this. I feel it would be like really cool for a company to do something like that, to be more open about the process. So I don't see how it could harm a company like anyhow. Of course there will be like people hating on it, and yeah, but I guess in the end it will be just cool. Or for example, like to a company to like each week a different artist like live streaming and just showing how they are doing stuff. So for example, someone would design a monster for Witcher and they will be like, okay, the title of today's live stream is like 8 hours of a live stream of a work of a guy from like a CD Projekt Red or something like this, and they will just like, ooh, we are doing stuff. Yeah, I mean it can reduce the hype for a game in a sense that it will like at some point become boring for a lot of people, but on the other hand it will be interesting. Someone should do something like this. Like, I mean, a lot of game devs now are like starting to do like the dev updates and everything. As far as I know, the Hunt Showdown, the game devs from Crytek, I believe, they are doing stuff like this because just community likes it, and yeah, I do believe it's just cool. Yeah, especially now, like since so many companies like really messed up the things that they were doing, so just like being open about the things that they are doing is just like a good idea for a lot of them. From the video game awards. No, I absolutely do not give a flying fuck about awards and stuff like this, because vast majority of the times weird things win, and it's highly like biased and like, let's say, politicized too much. I don't really care about stuff like this. Yeah, it could have been. I don't know. However, like weirdly it might sound, I never played any game of Assassin's Creed. At some point I was just like busy with different games and I just kind of forgot about them, and then there were like too many games of like Assassin's Creed and I never played it. I know what is the lore and story and everything, more or less, but I never played them. At some point I have to, but this is like one of the things that I have ignored throughout the years in the gaming history. I also never played Portal, but it's not like really my type of a game. Oh, I do believe the next game will be in Japan and stuff like this, because Sekiro and Nyoh, or however to say it, like already paved the way, and yeah, it's just like definitely it will happen at some point, because people like are talking about it for a really long period of time, but they went with the Nordic themes, so basically like God of War type of a thing, as God of War did, so it will happen sooner or later, but it will happen. Oh, Ghost of Tsushima, right. Also, Shama Kroshani was a lead 3D character artist for Ghost of Tsushima, I believe. So also this is the reason why I should follow him, because his 3D models of like samurais and everything are like batshit crazy. And he is also making mentorships for 3D, so I do believe if you like want to learn ZBrush and stuff like this, mentorship from him is like the best actually place to go right now. I wanted to kind of take it right now, but like I wanted to take it, but I unfortunately had other spendings and started doing the full-time job, so I wouldn't have like time to do it properly. And but I'm thinking about like learning from him some stuff. Also, at some point, I wanted to invite him for like an art talk. Oh, also, most likely this month, I will make two art talks with some cool artists because I contacted some cool artists and they most likely they might have time in December to talk stuff with me. So yeah, there is a chance it will happen. Let me try some like textured brushes. So be brighter. Let me try a new layer, like overlay, and let's see what will happen. Sakini-chan, I have no idea who he is or she. Like, not the slightest clue. But the Chan part sounds kinda scary. Like, that I don't know who Sakini-chan is. Yeah, honestly. Not the slightest clue who he or she is. Or being politically correct, who whatever the pronoun they are using. So yeah, really, I have no clue. Hello, Tanupri Tanupriranjan. Sakimich. Okay, I will do it later. So I guess it might be like a ticket to hell type of a, or ticket to Banhammer type of a content. Or maybe I do know. No, I do not know her. I know. Oh my god, what was his name? He got banned on Instagram like 10 times. I don't remember the name at all. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is also one of the things that. Ooh, nice. That's really nice. Yeah, but I guess this is also like and I would say a niche with painting NSFW stuff. Plus most likely drawing or painting anime or something like this, because I can imagine she's doing anime, given the fact that she has like this Chan type of a thing in her name or nickname. So wow, nice. This does not happen often to pronounce something correctly. Nice. That's an achievement for today. So yeah. I only did one NSFW artwork in my life. And it was actually one of the best commissions I have ever had, because like a dude wrote to me and he wanted his two characters to have like intercourse. And he was like, I was like, yeah, okay, this will cost this and that. He sent money before I even managed to send him an invoice. And I did a painting. It was really fun painting. It was cool. I was even considering at some point to become an NSFW artist, because like to be a good like adult art type of an artist, you need to have like a really good understanding of anatomy. And I was like, how can I like marry learning anatomy with making money? Like draw porn and boom, you are there. Hello, coffee. I never posted it anywhere because I was like, yeah, it is cool, but I don't really want to post it. So I don't want to kind of be associated with those type of stuff. Maybe one day I will post it because I still think it's a cool piece. It was definitely really hard to paint because, and I was learning. I actually learned this character with this character software for poses does 3D to make it. And I was talking with a friend of mine then on Discord, and he was like mocking me that like he was like showing me your screen, and I was like placing two 3D models to have sex like together years ago. It was like 1 or 2 years ago, something like this. I don't remember honestly. Now I have like so distorted like feeling of time that I have not a single clue what happened where. Something that I thought happened like a year and a half ago turns out happened like 3 months ago. So now I'm like all over the place with the calendar. Maybe on the next stream I will like censor it properly to see if there are not any nip slips on stuff like this. And maybe I will show it. But it was like cool. I learned a lot doing that piece. It was definitely hard because a lot of artificial light was going on in there. And it also was a little bit more like anime in a feel, which is absolutely not my piece of cake because like I like anime, but I don't like drawing anime and stuff like this. So yeah. I mean, I do consider it. Honestly, I do consider it, but I have considered it. But again, it's not something that I feel like that I'm really interested in at the moment. And I don't feel I have a skill set. Like I'm not good enough with like male and female characters, like human characters, to the point where I could do something like this efficiently. So at the moment, I just want to get better generally at art. Then maybe we will see. Yes and no. Yes, because there will always be market for porn. This is like a universal truth. It's always possible. No, because a lot of people think it's easier, and the market, I do believe, is really saturated. Yes, because you will always find someone who wants something like this made for them. And it turns out a lot of people who like those type of stuff also have quite a lot of money. So it might be easier to get like a rich client, let's say. But no, um, like I would say it is easier in some to some degree, and it's harder to some degree. So it's hard to say. I never like entered this market, so uh, I can't say if it's easier or not. Maybe if I will ever do, I will just like make a report then, like what was easier, getting into gaming industry or gaming into like drawing porn industry type of stuff. And then I will compare earnings and everything, and I will be like, okay, going into the gaming industry was a mistake. I should draw like naked stuff all along the way. It might be like it might end up like this. Uh I would say Fury is easier because you can like go a little bit more crazy with proportions and with the anatomy and stuff like this, and you can justify a lot of like stuff by doing it. So definitely like skill wise Fury is easier. Because it's much harder to draw like a convincing human figure with like a proper anatomy and everything in a good proportions and everything. But on the other hand, it's also much easier to go much crazier with the commissions, as far as I know. And some people really want a really unsettling stuff to be drawn in terms of Furies. I have heard stories from some friends of mine, and some commissions were wild. I would say in this case, Fury attracts less fans and less customers, but it definitely attracts much more loyal customers in a sense, because this is like a quite specific niche, I would say, like a quite specific niche to be in. So like in this case, it's, let's say, quotes, quality over quantity in terms of like customers and fans and stuff like this. So it's like even with YouTube thingies. So for example, I could like have like, I wish I had like 1 million subscribers, but what do I do with 1 million subscribers that don't interact, let's say, with the videos or with the content? I much rather have like, let's say, 50 or 100, like, let's say, really loyal watchers who just enjoy the stuff and are like engaged to it, instead of having like 1,000 watchers that are just not engaged to the stuff. Like they are just, let's say, blindly watching without asking any questions or just like interacting. So yeah, I can now I have like, I don't know, 4 or 5 viewers or something like this, but at least I can talk with you and I can discuss some stuff. But I wouldn't really care if I had like 1,000 viewers, but no one would say anything. It will be just boring. So yeah. Oh yeah. Like it's a small story. Like someone told me, I don't even remember if it's like a first-hand story or a second or third-hand story, but a friend of a friend of a friend, I believe, or something like this, was doing some like commissions like this, and someone wanted something along the lines of like a cow with 6 tits doing stuff, and it was really specific and really weird. And I do believe it was a she, and after like a month of working like this, or maybe it was longer, I remembered it as a month, she was really afraid to go out in public, because she was afraid all those like crazy people who wanted those type of stuff are just like stalking her and like walking around her. And she was like genuinely scared of people after doing commissions like this, and she quit after some time. So yeah, it might not be the healthiest thing, but on the other hand, I feel that I am much more desensitized for stuff like this, so I wouldn't mind it that much, because it's not in a zone where where I feel it's too much for me. And there are things that are too much for me. A friend of mine is a ER type of a guy, first respond. Oh my god, the healthcare first responding guy, like the guy in an ambulance who goes to like crash sites and everything. And sometimes the stuff he sends me, like the videos from some different like crashes and everything, this is too much. Like the heavy gore is way too much for me. But like fancy weird ass porn, I don't think it would be too much. Furry trauma. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I do believe if I would ever like become a furry artist or whatever type of an artist or hentai artist, like it can happen at some point in my life. I never say no to stuff like this because I don't know. Maybe with the like NSFW stuff, I would try to like separate myself from the art, but on the other hand, I'm like, I always thought you have to be proud of what you are doing. So yeah, I also kind of don't get it, like why people are ashamed of like nudity in art and stuff like this. Like censoring art, in my opinion, is stupid. I mean, if it's like, of course, it's hard to draw a line, but I would say if the nudity and stuff is tasteful, there is no real reason why someone should like censor it, because okay, it's really easy to make to say what art is tasteful, what is not, but always you will find someone who would defend really not tasteful art, like nude artwork, they will defend it as tasteful. So it might be causing some problems, but in the long shot, I don't think like nudity in art should be censored. So for example, if I would draw a troll with like a giant dong hanging between his legs, like, I mean, he must have a dong, so yeah, so it should not be a problem. Needing therapy. I can imagine this is true. I can actually imagine this is true, especially all the motion artists and animators and everything, because honestly, like some fatalities from Mortal Kombat are close to the point of like when I'm like, oh fuck, this is not something that I wanted to see. And there was one fatality. I have not a single clue. My brain, I believe, just erased this info from my, like, I just forgot. But there was one fatality when I was like looking at it and I was like, holy fuck, this is like really dark and really unsettling and really heavy. And they have it in games. So, but on the other hand, I'm really happy the game something like there is something like this in the games, because it does push up boundaries, and in the end it's good thing, I believe. Do not be afraid of like heavy imagery in games, because some games, some stories just need it. So yeah, I do think in the end this is a good thing to happen. Do go. Actually, this painting is much more pleasant than I thought it would be. I don't remember the last time when I zoned out so hard while rendering something. The purple troll is really cool. Troll. Oh yeah, that's definitely. But as far as I know, working on Mortal Kombat is hard. Like the quality is really high. So I do believe Daniel Peacock, the guy that I had the interview with, he was working on Collector, I believe, from Mortal Kombat, and also when I was talking briefly with Lada Hladkova, I believe, because she was working with him, I think it was like a joke between them that it is hard to work on Mortal Kombat, that they are like really demanding. I actually wrote to her like quite some time ago, because I wanted to have her on an art talk, but she told me then that she's extra busy and she has not responded today. Most likely she just forgot, or maybe it turns out that I'm an extremely bad host and she was like, no, but she was polite with it. So yeah, maybe at some point I will ask her again if she would like to show some stuff in here. Yeah, let me just hide the muscle monsters. Let me hide those. Let me connect this with this. What's the not this, not this. This is what? This is nothing, okay. So I pretty much started with this and now it's this. I think it's kinda okay. I feel like the light setup like really fits my brain, like the top left from the front. A bit more from the front is just like sitting nicely with my head. I do feel like I do need to work a bit on this pec and this bicep. Like to push the stone over the bicep while I hit it. It should not be under the bicep, it should be over the bicep. Yeah. So like this. Yeah, so I do think I feel like 4 more streams and it will be over. And the background I will do on a different stream, because I want to make a uniform background for every single character. Or maybe to make like a 5, like a panorama type of a shot for each, so each character will have like a different background, but it will like it will look like a continuation. I used them once, the vacuum Cintiq. It was cool, but what was annoying for me, it was the fact that I was like covering the screen with my hands, and this was the thing that was really annoying for me. I would need to give it another try, like pretty much like right now, to decide. Definitely the control over the curves and everything is better, and you can work much faster because you are not getting this like this. You're not getting disconnected from like the eye hand coordination. So yeah, but I'm using, I don't know if you can see it, the old ugly worn off vacuum, like the M size, with a new cable, because the old cable broke and the new one I think already broke, or the port is dying. So but I got so used to it, so no, I don't need to change it. I believe this is the first new Intuos, because back in the days they were called Bamboo, then they renamed Bamboo to Intuos, and Intuos to Intuos Pro, so this is like the first or the second edition of Intuos. Stay away from other brands as far as I know. Amazing Haribo. When I was teaching digital at Domin, I had some students to come with like XP Pen and Huyons and other brands and everything, and 19 like not even like trying to be dramatic, but 99% of the problems that I ever had with students having problems with their hardware, it was exclusively Huion. Like Huion was all the way causing the biggest amount of problems among every other brand, because it was like also the most popular one beside the Vacom around the students that I had. And XPPen, as far as I know, also kind of lacks in quality. So in my opinion, it's in this case, if you want to like really sit into it and you want a thing to work for a long period of time, then just spend a bit more, but get a vacuum and it will be worth it. Because those things are like, okay, they are more expensive, but there is a reason why they are more expensive. The quality really comes with the price, and in this case I'm using this one for 8 years now, I believe, and I never had to even buy the tips, because they gave like 1 tip in the pen and 3 tips in the tablet, and I changed the tip like twice maybe, but I had no need to do it. I just changed it because I discovered after like 5 years that I have like spare tips in the end. And yeah, and I'm definitely using the hard tips, because some people are using the really soft tips because they have different hardness, and they are like bitching about the fact that, oh, it wears so quickly, and I'm just wearing off the surface of my tablet basically. That's most likely because you are using the soft tip, because there have different hardnesses. So wait, into was tip. Końcówki do intuosów, no. Nibs. Where is their page? Not Best Buy. Nib replacement. Vacuum. I mean, I would not be able to show you a lot, but except all, maybe I will be able to. Close. No. Vacuum. Vacuum in Tools Pro. Okay, vacuum in Tools. I want to go into their like page. Creative Pen Tablet. Oh, shop. Okay. Shop. Store. Oh, yeah. Store vacuum. So I guess it will be accessories. Yeah. Nips. Oh, yeah. Accessory kit. Yeah, there are nibs. Let me show you. Because this is the thing that usually fucks people up. You have flex nibs, I believe, chisel felt nibs, stroke pen nibs, and hard felt nibs. And I'm 99% sure I'm using the hard felt nibs, or at least they only made only those back in the days, because they are hard enough that they were pretty much like they pretty much don't wear. I do believe they most likely wear the tablet thing. I can't write in the chat, but if you will just go to, if you just type vacuum shop and you go to estore.vacuum.com and then accessories and nibs, it's all in there. So I will just read on the hardness, because some people are like using softer nibs because they don't want to scratch the screen on the Cintiqs and everything, because some people just don't want to like have their screen scratched. So this is one of the reasons I believe they might be using softer nibs. And some people don't like to have a protection on a screen because it also changes the way the tablet reads the input, so it might not be worth it. So yeah, for some folks. But yeah, for me, as I said, I'm using the hard nibs and it works perfectly fine for like many years, and nothing suggests that it will like wear out anytime soon. Most likely, if the tablet will die, and I believe it will die at one point, and I will like exchange it to a newer model, then I will have like fuckload of new problems, because this is what always happens with like new stuff. Oh yeah. Painting the gut of a troll. And with stuff like gut, like a bebech, you would say in my language, is that I really need to check it a lot on a smaller screen, like on a navigator that you cannot see on the top left corner, because I really want the roundness and the fullness to be like felt. So I really want this area to be like much brighter, so you could feel that it's like protruding, but it's still like rock hard type of a material. Because mine is wearing a belt. It's basically like a strongman or powerlifting type of a belt to keep the core tight. And if you can keep a core tight, then it's much safer to throw rocks if you are a huge ass troll. So you won't fuck up your lower back. And no one wants like a troll in their army with like a fucked up lower back. And because it's not a human, the sternum can be actually like this bone between like your pecs can be much wider, So there can be like a huge gap in here. It would actually make sense given his build for something like this to happen, but also give me back the fill heath, because I want to see this area. This area is kind of tricky. It's like, it's not hard per se, but it's just tricky on how all the stuff wraps around here. I do believe that this delt needs to like hang lower, so it would create this line, maybe slightly more pronounced, and then the delt, that this thing here and this entire thing would be a delt, because there's like a this double glowy triangle in here that I really do enjoy. It looks nice. This will be like this head of a thing. Yeah, and I also, for the chat, I cannot write in chat because I'm using the multi-stream chat on Streamlab desktop, and it does not allow me to write in it because it gathers the chat from everywhere, like basically. But I guess it will be all for today because we are getting closer to 2 hours. I need to get back to work. The break is over. So yeah, I do think we made quite an okay progress for this guy. Let me turn off the muscles. So this is where we are now, and this is where we started. So given the line art, yeah, we went from quick critique. Yeah, easily. So just link send the link on Twitch, because on YouTube it's the YouTube does not like links. So yeah, chill. Hello, Kostov. I'm using something that most definitely I should not use, but it has like a relatively okay color thing. So let me just tell you exactly. Look, I'm using the one that I don't think they produce anymore, but it turns out the colors are really okay on it. I never had any problems with it, and everything that I have done that also went for print was pretty much looking exactly the same. I know it's not the highest high-end monitor, but it was cheap. And yeah, I'm using the AUK U2777 PQU 4K. This is a really cool brand, actually. It was like, you can see where they made the screen cheaper, because the stand and everything is like just feels cheaper, but the screen itself is really cool. It's really good, and the colors are really okay, and the angles of viewing are also really okay. So yeah, and my second screen is like an old Dell, so yeah. So this is this, and I think I will need to next time to make the delay a bit smaller. So yeah. So I will wait a bit for that for your link, and I might look at it. So yeah. Thank you for there. Okay, Furiato. Let me look at it. Imgur. And does not show me anything. Right. Again. The link opens, but it does not show me the thing. I will try to log in. Okay, wait, I will try to look at it again. Maybe something isn't loading on my side. Oh yeah, now it's loaded. I guess it had to process. And so this is the portrait. It looks cool. The thing is, if you want to make your life significantly easier, paint it first with only like this light, and this one just don't do it at the moment and add it at the end. So you can like properly make one light source and you can shade everything around it and it will be okay. And then just on the other, like on the next layer, just add this. The one thing that definitely is slightly different, or should be different in my opinion, usually this line is a bit more straight, and usually you will have some sort of a like at least a slight like shape in here, because we have like the like this bone in here, and yeah, this is one thing. If the nose is casting a shadow, it will most likely cast more like this from like this area, so it will go maybe more like this, and then just be consistent with the angle. So remember, like the cast shadow will always be hard. So for example, in here, those shadows will be hard. It will be like a hard shadow, and the same happens in here. So yeah, in here I would add the clavicular bone, so it goes more like kind of like this. So just you will need to shade it, and on the neck there is like this tube type of a muscle. The trap goes like behind it, so this curvature here might be slightly more subtle, and I do feel it will do nice if there were some hair like visible in here, so you could actually see the shape going like this. It just feels then that she has not like a bald side of a head. And yeah, and remember, on the reflected light, as it is in here, the light reflects from the shoulder and it will like light up this entire area in here. Also remember about the skin underneath like your chin. Usually this is like one of the things that a lot of people forget. They tend to draw like a head, a jawline, and a neck, and they forget that the jaw, like basically if you draw it from below, they tend to do it like this, and they forget that in here you have to have like the skin flap for like a throat. It's basically shaped like an orange peel, something like this. So it does connect the jawline to a neck. It's one of the things that a lot of people, myself included, often forget, but it gives this like more dimension to the face. It just looks nicer. And if someone is a little bit more fat, then this thing is just bigger. So yeah. So it will be like this, and the rest looks okay. If the eyes are a bit stylized, then most likely there should be like the size is okay, but they could be a bit smaller. The rest looks really fine. But yeah, there's a really cool thing, and on William Nguyen, however to say it. Let me just print screen it and place it. So he also has like he has a female version. It's like a 3D model with like a rotating light around it, and you can just reference this head, and you can like rotate the head, you can rotate the light source, and you can see how the, I don't know if it's a Corsa. I don't think it's a Corsa. It is a Corsa, but yeah, you can like base a lot of like shadow shapes and everything of it, and you will be fine. I might actually prepare like a small reference from this to this so I can like double check it. But yeah, this is pretty much all. So yeah, thanks for watching and have a good day and goodbye. See ya.